This is a video about constructing banners for your digital portfolio and changing your icon in your digital portfolio as well. So you should have watched the video on visual rhetoric before you watch this one right here. It talks about the idea of using images, colors, fonts, white space as a way of persuading an audience. One of the best features in your digital portfolio to do this is the banner at the very top of the page. It's going to be the image that shows up on every page of your digital portfolio. So selecting an effective image for that can help to hold the portfolio together. It can help to present an idea on an image. Basically, as I said, it's still at this point not overly important what your image is. At this point, I would rather you just practice getting things into the portfolio banner image rather than what they mean. So if you have something that you're like or interested, a game or music, musicians or something like that, please go ahead and do that as well. We will think more about our creative identity or our educational identity towards the end of the quarter. Pardon me, the very first part of this assignment is to go to the Get Help page again. Again, this is depal.digication.com/get help. It'll take you to this as well. You should have already watched the setup tutorial right here, but here's the next image, next part right here. And these are the three videos that I want you to watch. The first one is how to search for images, uses the Teaching Commons image to pull those out as well. The second one is about actually how to add a banner image as well. And then finally, there is a color scheme one. This is a app here. It's Adobe Color. There's a link at the very front page as well, talking about how you can use that to, again, as we talked about in the visual rhetoric, to hold the portfolio together as well. Each one of the videos is about 5 minutes long, so it shouldn't be too much all together as well. So the idea then is you should then be uploading an image. So kind of what could it possibly be? So someone asked in the Q&A we had in class the other day, someone asked me about the idea of like, why did I have these images on my front page? There's a quote here at the bottom that was talking about this idea of images and objects. They become signs and images. So that's the kind of thing that I'm playing with here as well. The image here itself, and this will make more sense later on in the quarter itself, when we get in, we'll read an article by Susan Sontag, and we'll also talk about another essay by John Berger, The Ways of Seeing. And it's talking about photography and how we see ourselves. So I thought that was an effective image to kind of use for our portfolio. Other images, and I'm not presenting these as being the best examples of things like this, but this is things that I've done. So here's a portfolio I have to do for my job at the Writing Center as well. So I have this image from a cartoon in the 1920s and 30s called Crazy Cat by a guy named George Harriman as well. And basically the premise is the exact same. So this mouse hates this cat, so it throws a brick at the cat every day. This cop, who's a dog, arrests the mouse and puts the mouse in jail. And that goes on for 20 years. He does that daily for 20 years. So this idea of repetition is what the thing I was playing with. So I ended up writing a tutor philosophy, talking about this idea of repetition here as well. And I use the images to then hold together. So there's a theme of repetition, but how Harriman does it, it ends up being different every time. So the same way that when I work with students or writers, they may have similar assignments, but because they're different, the experience is different every time. So I use that to support it. Things that other people have done. Here is a former student of mine, Celeste. She ends up having this, and this is a nice one because it's a very clear visual image in terms of like, oh, this is about swimming, or she's doing something with swimming. So the pool image in the background, the goggles, all that, it's very clear. She ends up doing you'll do a very similar thing for your final portfolio as well. And she's talking about, and it was funny, here's literally the banner that she put in her what's the word, sandbox portfolio. And I remember talking to her about it was just like, well, you know, if it's just a pretty picture, is that the best thing? What does that say about you? So she ended up changing it, and so she started thinking about it. So what will I do? So she started thinking about the idea about what she could end up doing. And she drew this parallel between writing and swimming. She literally put, so they're like these rich text modules are like the lanes of a pool. So she's literally thinking about organization, she's thinking about imagery, she's thinking about all these things together. So that really ends up making a really solid kind of portfolio. And again, you don't need to worry about this right at the moment. You're not trying to shoot for this right now. But these are kind of what your end product will end up looking like as well. Okay, so the one thing that is not covered in the videos is how to change your icon. So the icon is the thing that on the home page of Digication, let me go here, let me get one just so everyone can see it as well. That's what this is. So the thing behind these images right here as well. They're basically a lot of times, I think if I go to the view of, if I do this, they're shared with me. Yeah, so this is the one that kind of the default that people have in here as well. And so it's all, you know, it doesn't say much about you. It doesn't say much about you as an individual as well. So I want everyone to upload an image. And it can be anything. I mean, you'll notice like I've got, here's the Crazy Cat one. Here's the one for our current class as well. And a lot of times it just helps to so it's not just this mass of kind of white. I'm able to identify them better as well. So the process of how you change it is pretty straightforward. You go up to the hamburger in the upper right hand corner, click on that. You're going to settings, and right here, so this is where you choose the thumbnail, or what I like to call the icon as well. So you would click there and upload the image, and then all you have to do is hit the save setting here at the very bottom as well. All right, I hope this was helpful.